Welcome back, and I'm still with the University of Cape Town Vice-Chancellor and Principal Professor Mamokgethi Phakeng. As I said, congrats to you, Prof, and we definitely are proud of you. And having known your story and known your life story for quite a while, before now, one can take for granted that it's been an easy passage. We've referred to how you got appointed to Vice-Chancellorship. But there are many life lessons learned along the way, I suppose, from your childhood until now. What do you think is standing you good at this time as you continue on this journey of being leader of that institution?
I think growing up working class, as much as it's seen as a disadvantage, is giving me a whole lot of advantage as VC, because I lead a university that's got a lot of our students who are currently not satisfied, feeling marginalized, that I can understand where they come from, because I've been there myself. I started school under a tree, and I grew up in a context of poverty. So I can empathize, because when they talk about black pain, I've got lived experience of that. But at the same time, having walked the journey as a scholar myself, as a scholar to becoming a B1 rated scholar, means that I understand the journey of scholarship. I understand what it means to support the academic project and support people to the levels at which they are. And I understand what it means to be an A-rated scholar, and what it means to be a B-rated scholar, and what it means to hustle in the scholarship journey to achieve that which you want to achieve. And that puts me in good stead, because I can engage with researchers across racial and gender lines, and understand why sometimes they want the things that they want, because I've walked their journey. And I've been in a leadership position for a long time, 10 years, and I've worked in different institutions, and that has exposed me to the difficulties and the complexities of leadership. You know, Tim, the challenge of leadership is that you cannot learn all about it from books. We learn a lot of ways of doing things in books, and we learn from people in experience. But I have learned at this point in time that when you're in a position of leadership, firstly, you must have the courage to make decisions. There is nothing as frustrating as a leader who is indecisive and who wants to be liked by everyone. If you want to be liked by everyone, then you shouldn't be a leader, because in a leadership position, you're going to make decisions at some stage that are for the good of the institution, for the good of the students, for the good of the academic project, and there'll always be someone who's not happy about the decisions that you make. And as a leader, you've got to be comfortable with that.
Sure. Just
because you know what informs your decisions. And so I'm comfortable with the fact that, given my experience, I understand the academic project so well, and I understand why the students are there, and that it will help me make decisions that are in the interest of the academic project, even if at a time students or staff or some constituency in the university do not understand it. They will understand it later and appreciate it, but it will be in the interest of the project that we are about.
Now, with that kind of experience, Prof, I have to ask you this question. When you look at the South African education system, right, and there have been many complaints and observations made about it, that the quality of education, at least at the level of basic education, is low, as much as we've got fine top institutions such as the University of Cape Town. But the learners who come into the system actually are not ready in most instances for what the institutions at tertiary level have to offer. What do you think is wrong or can be improved with the South African system?
I mean, what we have in this country at basic education is that we have an excellent curriculum, if you like, and I'm talking mathematics in particular, because that's the area of my specialty. That you can have a curriculum that's great, but curriculum on its own doesn't solve everything. And I even say that at university. Curriculum is important, but it is not everything. It is not sufficient. It's not going to get us to change much if you only change curriculum. What you have in basic education is that curriculum, but the implementation of it is not what it should be. The training of the people who should implement the curriculum is not what it should be. What we have currently in the country is that teachers are trained in different institutions, and there isn't really a standard when it comes to mathematics as to what level you should be in terms of in terms of mathematics knowledge for teaching. And so we've got to work hard at our pre-service teacher education program to make sure that all our teachers are well prepared for the progressive curriculum that we have. Without that, we'll keep having to correct the teaching that happens in our schools.
Prof, you are one of the important leaders in the country now, also being the Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Town. So we'll seek your views on a variety of things, including what you think, the skills you think we need as a country, and also to go back to your own personal contribution to helping drive the country forward, to help take us forward, especially your institution. What are your views and how are you going to take UCT forward?
UCT is at a point where I think we are poised to continue being the top university in the continent and in the world. We're not ready to give that up, and we will not give that up. What we will do is to bring our efforts together to say what does it mean to build a secure future for UCT. And we've got to agree that transformation is at the core of it, and it will help us sustain our excellence. So that's what we're going to do. But we're going to be looking at a future in that way and say, if we want a sustainable future, transformation is at the core. And so how do we do this? So we have initiatives that we are in the pipeline that are going to help us do that. Some of them looking at our upcoming rising young academics to make sure that in the next 5 to 10 years become leading scholars in their fields. Some of them look at areas of study that we at UCT already have leading scholars in them, but we want to make them big so that they benefit not just the university and the country, but the continent as a whole. And those have to do with, for example, diseases that are prone to affect people on the continent, and we're still working on that to get scholars who are leading us in that field to how can we make this big to ensure that we have impact in the country. And we're going to be looking at future studies. What is the future of higher education? How does education as a whole, not even just higher education, given the changes in technology, given the changes in our world, what's the future of education? What will education look like in 20 years, in 50 years? Because if we can think about it in that way, then we can start beginning to say, how do we prepare ourselves, not only as a university, but as a country and as a continent to face the future in the way we train our students, the kind of graduates we produce, and in the way we run our operations to make sure that we are not surprised by the future, because the world is changing. We too have to change, and UCT can lead that change.
Well, Prof, thank you very much for your time, and we're looking forward to your contribution, and congratulations once again. It's going to be a difficult task ahead. You've gone through it all before, so we believe and have confidence that you will achieve your objectives. Thank you for being on the Mudisa Network.
Thank you very much, Tim.
And that's all we had for you tonight, and we invite you to be with us again next week at 6 p.m. on Saturday. And good night.